Oh,
there it is.
And we're live, everybody. We're big live. Look at that. I'm driving today, and we've already started in the medium and just hitting that speed bump along the way. Evan has, unfortunately for me, for my ego, unfortunately for everybody here, allowed me to drive today because I finally have a working audio box. And we're going to have all sorts of silly noises come through, and I'm not going to know where they all are, but it's going to be great. But anyway, we're happy to have you all here for another episode of Rise Up. And I think this is the right intro. Oh. Rise Up Morning Show. What up, people? I'm driving. Anything could happen. But yeah, guys, the reason why I'm able to do this now is because I have one of these. I can't lift it up because of all the wires. Actually, maybe I can. I have one of these boxes now, and I can finally have audio come through on my side, which Evan has been doing the entire time, and then for a while, and also now Alex, and I've been the laggard, so that if there is anything, you're doing amazing, sweetie. You're doing amazing, sweetie. I am. I feel like I am. But yeah, so now I can drive, and it's going to be really rocky roads at first, and it's going to be a little manic, and it's going to be silly, and I'm high on power because look at all these buttons I have. Listen to this music.
Let me hear some of those buttons.
Yeah. You feel that heat? Oh yeah, take it close. Alex is a schnitzel.
I'm in hell. I am in the seventh circle.
Dude, it's so funky though.
Funky morning.
Funky
Just keep going. Anyway, and it goes on. And then there's like a sick guitar riff. It's amazing. We got some other fun ones too.
Wait, was that a fart?
No, it's a record skip.
Oh.
Record skip. Yeah.
Oh my
God. That I downloaded the Gwump, but
also. Oh yes, I forgot. It is the voice of the XRP army coming in for Alex's booty. Yes, it's truly wonderful.
Oh, you also have a high-pitched voice, because of course you do.
I think this is the big robot. Big robot? No, megaphone.
I've progressed to the 8th circle.
And then, oh, this is just the same.
One.
Are you Morse coding right now?
This is awful.
I'm gonna give Will a ding.
Oh, I made sure I downloaded that one, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I bet you did. How does it feel to have two soundboards at the same time on the show, Alex? Does it feel like or does it feel more like a?
It feels as though I am progressing deeper and deeper into the bowels of hell.
This is wonderful. God, isn't this great? But yeah, so I just can't wait. I told Evan, I was like, I can't wait till you go on like a tirade about something, and then I can just start halfway through it. And then clip it, and it'll be wonderful.
There is a wonderful show called Parks and Rec. And on Parks and Rec, there is an actual fake radio show called Crazy Ira and the Douche. And I feel like the Rise Up Morning Show is now one step closer to being Crazy Ira and the Douche.
You know what? I'm not mad about that.
You're
Who's
both.
Crazy Ira?
Your Will is both Crazy Ira and the Douche.
Crazy Ira.
Like this. It makes me feel more powerful. I can be multiple. Well, guys, we have a few different things to talk about today. And
believe it or not, there is a show.
There is a show. There is a show. It's not just going to be an hour and a half of me playing all these buttons, which I
may
could
be disappointing to some people, honestly.
Maybe disappointing.
Because it's quite fun.
We'll find out who our true fans are. But no. So if you guys have any questions, anything you want to talk about, hit us up in the comment section, of course. But otherwise, we have a few different things we want to hit on. First and foremost, I made a couple videos on this yesterday, but it is Coinbase is delisting. The scary headline is Coinbase is delisting Render, Helium, Synapse and Ribbon Finance. And that's the headline. But guys, it's a bunch of FUD because what they're doing is all 4 of those projects had old tokens and had gone through some level of migration, some upgrade or whatever, right? Like Render moved from Ethereum to Solana, required the new Render token, RENDR, as opposed to the old token, RNDR. And so it's just those old tokens that are no longer the actual namesake token of those solutions anymore, those dApps that are being delisted off of Coinbase. You'll see that all those tokens have taken a hit. At least I know Render has. Last time I took. It's odd because some people just rushed and sold. I saw some people comment in the comment section here like, oh, I sold my Render thinking that it was really being delisted off of Coinbase. That's not the case. If you hold one of those old tokens, there's a few different things you can do. I'm not quite sure of all the options, but if you hold RNDR, old Render, on Coinbase, there should be an option for you to convert to the new Render. That might be an option available to all of you. Or what you can do is make sure you go to the official website of one of those projects. They should have a bridge, migrate the old token to the new token. And then the other thing you could do is, I mean, you don't have either of those options, you don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, you can sell the old token and then go buy the new, or whatever you want, you know? So those are the 3 options that are available to you. But a lot of FUD out there, you know, be careful. And yeah, that's the news. So.
And just quick update. If you're looking for future announcements about delistings, like you want to stay alert, you can go to the official Coinbase blog. The URL for that one is blog.coinbase.com. And you can also go to their asset hub. They have an asset listings and delistings tab on the regular Coinbase.com website. It's coinbase.com/asset-hub. And they usually post timely notices about, like, we're thinking of listing, we're thinking of delisting, and why. It's not a bad idea if you use Coinbase regularly and you hold a lot of different tokens, that you add that to your rotation of places to check for news about the projects that matter to you.
Get that, dude. And I don't know if there's anything else to really talk about that. Oh, the other thing to mention is just that if you guys don't have to move your stuff until June 26th. So nice. There you go. You guys have a little bit of time.
We do have a couple of comments that I'd like to highlight really quickly, if it's okay, just because they're delightfully in love with you getting to drive. Somebody says, it's awesome. Sending BTC by Morse code. Alex's patience, laughing my butt off. And my favorite one might be, I don't think it's a good idea to leave the toys with the kids.
No, it's always a good idea.
Listen, man. Yeah, Joe asked, do you have a steering wheel on that thing?
It would be nice race car wheels on the side.
It'd be nice if it was more so a situation where it was like the student driver, where you had 2 steering wheels.
That's right.
Evan could just like wrestle it back for me.
I could. I thought about it, but I this is important. If you crash, you'll remember it forever. And I know you're not going to crash. You're not going to crash.
It's the difference forever and always between my hosting abilities and Evan's will always be like going to the bowling alley, and Evan is just, you know, he's just strike, and then I'm off in the corner of the bowling alley that doesn't have all the lights that are working and has the bumpers, and I'm just bouncing the balls back and forth, but they're losing momentum and barely getting to the pins. That's going to be the difference.
You know what though? Even somebody bouncing bowling balls off the bumpers backwards, not looking, can get a strike every now and then. And the difference between you and me is really just, I have a lot of practice. So you got to do this, man. I do want to draw your attention to one question though that we've had twice that I think will fit well into the conversation wherever you'd like to include it, which is from Neil. And Neil, I did see this, tagged us earlier in a post he made on X, formerly known as Twitter, asking, is BlackRock the market maker now? And I answered no, explaining myself as saying, you know, there's a real difference between being like an agenda setter who's influential, whose people are influential with lots of levers that they can pull, being a custodian of Bitcoin because they offer an ETF product, and being somebody who can offer an ETF product, and being a market maker, somebody who actually puts up liquidity and goes out and trades assets to sometimes manipulate the price. I thought it would be helpful though to address this sentiment because I'm sure you guys see this. now that institutions, especially folks like BlackRock, that kind of fund is here in a big way or bigger way. They're the second largest holder of Bitcoin now on behalf of the people who buy the ETF there. Should we be concerned about that? Neil seems a little down and a little gloomy. He feels like maybe we're cooked, like maybe it's out of our hands now. TradFi is here. They've taken it from us. And William kind of was talking about that yesterday. Since we're talking also today about the Circle IPO, I don't know. I just thought it was a good moment to pause and reflect because people are asking about this kind of thing generally. Institutions here in a big way. Is it a bad thing? Is it over? And I don't think the answer is yes yet. But
what is over to you? You know, like that's my question is like, is it over? I'm like, well, what do you mean?
Over to me would be like what William Quigley said yesterday. And maybe he said this after we got off the air, but he described a vision of the future where it's like consensus sponsored by JP Morgan. And I think that would be like over is if instead of, well, maybe not over, is if instead of using, Circle or Tether or DAI, everybody everywhere was using stablecoins at their bank and calling it crypto. If people didn't trust Bitcoin because it wasn't offered by a bank. Like I think, and Neil, stop me if I'm paraphrasing here or getting you wrong, but I think Neil might be concerned about having an institution like BlackRock be the point through which people access crypto or think they access crypto, but what they're really buying is like an ETF. And what it really does is give somebody, I think he's concerned that it would give somebody like BlackRock more power than it would give somebody like you or me on the Bitcoin network because they hold so much.
I mean, yes and no, because, the way I look at it is you're going to have the financial institutions. They were always going to come. But the thing is they can't take it over. It's never going to be over because Bitcoin is decentralized. Like this whole crypto world, even if in some crazy scenario, Bitcoin were to be taken down by the man, right? There's this now, the door is blown wide open on this centralized culture, world, and solutions. Like there's always going to be people building in this space in a decentralized manner. That's never going to go away. It's never going to be over. You're now always going to have decentralized options being built and made readily available for people. It's just whether or not it can really kind of make its way through the marketing noise. That will be dominated by traditional financial institutions in that more dystopian scenario. But there's always going to be decentralized options being made available for people. And regarding Bitcoin's adoption into the ETFs and stuff like that, I mean, you're just providing the same ratio of people who invest and buy into Bitcoin today, who buy into it because they want dollar to go up, and who buy into it because they want a decentralized option to get out of the system and to have some security there, is going to be the same, in my opinion, long term. It's just that the total amount of people on each side is going to be bigger. But, there's going to be more people just interested in buying Bitcoin for dollar appreciation. But you're always going to have the people who can still go to Bitcoin because it's decentralized to have that escape route,
Sorry,
Alex?
I had no idea whether you were winding down.
We agree.
Can we take a quick tiny intermission so that you can make us moderators? I forgot you're hosting today and I need to be able to mute people.
And while he does that, unless you have questions about it, you can tap Alex's name or tap my name and you should be able to choose add moderator from the 3 dots. And while he does that, this seems like a good time to remind you that the Rise Up Morning Show is powered by Polygon, our friends, building the ag layer and so much more. Address layer 2, Ethereum, everywhere. Check them out. We're grateful to Polygon for powering the Rise Up Morning Show. And we cannot wait to have Ruto, our friend, on Rise Up After Dark tomorrow. We're definitely going to talk about some of the stuff that they're cooking in DeFi land. I hope that you are paying attention to what they're building. I hope that you are participating. If you're not, the easiest way to get started is probably to go stake your Paul token. It is simple. It is fun. And we're grateful to him. Way to go, Will. Look at the screen share. What you got screen shared right here? Is this a little
This is just a little
commercial.
A little something from Polygon yesterday.
Okay. Little teaser. And I do note that I saw this and I was like, oh, look how cute. They've got shapes, aka polygons.
Mm-hmm. I see what they did there. I see what they did there.
For people in podcast land, we're watching a preview video of something from Polygon. It looks like a ninja sword and
very particular
Very
weapon being
particular
formed.
samurai sword, of course.
woo.
So,
You know, I saw this
Also,
this same
this
sort of
was
video yesterday.
reposted by Morpho.
I'm sorry.
It was
Reposted by Morpho?
Morpho.
Dang. Yeah, I saw Neil allude to it yesterday in a little TikTok video. I've seen a couple of folks from around the ecosystem, so worth paying attention to. Thank you for helping us with the mod. Back to you, William Watson.
Yes. Wait, and here. Another hour.
I want to
Anyway,
turn that on and just be like,
but-
"What's up, all you crazy cats and chicks out there?"
Yeah, you know, but turn down the jazz. Oh, that's a good idea.
You know.
And then also do like the demon voice. That'd be
I'm
nice.
retiring.
Starting to learn where the buttons are.
I don't know how to sell this.
In a desperate effort to get us back on topic,
Anyway, Circle IPO.
Well-
That's a tangent to what we were talking about.
I was
Really?
going to add just a couple thoughts
Yeah,
to
to
the
the
whole
BlackRock bit.
thing.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot that was the genesis.
So I'm not 100% sure, Neil. I would love to, hear more if this is off base, but if what we're talking about is, the cost of attack on the Bitcoin network and whether or not BlackRock would if they could. I could see, I guess, two scenarios, one exponentially more unlikely than the other. On one hand, if this is the asset that they have staked their flag in right now, so to speak, and the one that they think that they're going to, make the next wave of gajillion dollars off of, it would be unbelievably counterproductive for them to attack that same network, nuking the reason that people would want to buy it. Nothing would like shake the foundations of that as an asset more than them trying to execute an attack on the network. So, I find that extremely unlikely. Not to mention, a lot of people would have to be in like unison and cahoots with them in order to pull that off. They have a bunch of liquidity providers who provide them with the liquidity necessary to run those ETFs, or their ETF rather. I don't know exactly which ones, but I know there's at least 4 or 5. And then, like I said, it would be shooting themselves in both feet at the same time to do something that would hurt the network. So I think if we can trust them to do one thing, it's probably act in their own interest and the interest of their shareholders, and that would be counterproductive to those two goals. So I don't really see it happening. Not to mention
that argument. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, finish.
just not to mention that it's not as easy as it sounds. Like they couldn't just fork all their Bitcoin. They're not the sole custodian of all of it. It's not theirs to just do that with. That would be a massive scandal. They would be doing things that they said that they would not do with assets that were only being held by them because investors had purchased the asset through their exchange traded product with certain stipulations as to what would happen to the asset as it's being custodied. It would be breaking that investment contract. I cannot even imagine the shitstorm that they would open themselves up to if they tried to do something malicious with the assets that they have only because they have a product that people are buying.
Yeah, and then the other thing to remember too is BlackRock has 40% ownership of 4 of the top 6 largest Bitcoin mining companies out there too. So, it's like very much so against their best interest.
Like, should you be concerned? Yeah, I would say yeah. But also, what have we as an industry been doing for the last 3 or 4 years? Just like whining about how there's not enough institutions here, and we couldn't wait to welcome the big money because it was going to make the whole thing valid, and it was going to be the thing that sent us to the moon. And now here they are. They're doing exactly what giant companies obviously were going to be doing, and everyone's like, wait a second, is this a concern? And it's just like, this is what you asked for. This is what happens.
And real quick, I see Neil in the comments talking about they have a prospectus that, and this is a rumor going around that there's language in their prospectus, there's language in their filing that indicates that they have a plan to fork Bitcoin into BlackRock Bitcoin. And correct me, Neil, if I'm talking about something else and you know something I don't know. But I want to address Neil's comment, his concern, and also the concern of some other commenters who say, what about decentralization and what does this mean for decentralization? To echo what you're saying, that first of all, BlackRock is not planning to fork Bitcoin, that there is some language in its iShares Bitcoin Trust prospectus that references forks, but it's standard disclosure language. It's not an indication of intent to create a new Bitcoin fork. Their owning Bitcoin miners is not an indication of intent to create a new fork. It acknowledges that in the event of a fork, the Bitcoin custodian and prime broker have discretion over which chain to support. It just says basically like we get the right to vote whichever way we want about where we will take our ball and go play in the future. And what I want people to understand is imagine a world where Bitcoin does fork and BlackRock owns a lot of Bitcoin and they decide to go to a chain, they take their ball and they go to a new chain, and it's a different chain than everybody else's chain. And it has a lot of power and a lot of influence at that chain. And it uses it to enforce things that it wants done. Like it becomes very centralized. What would that do you think, for a decentralized, global, permissionless money? It's the same thing as CBDC would do. If Donald Trump came out and said everybody has to use this money, we control it. If you don't use it, it's not that, oh, Bitcoin would go away. It's that everybody everywhere all the time would say, you need Bitcoin, real Bitcoin, decentralized Bitcoin. You need it now. It creates more demand for the alternative. It's like a parent who's trying to control you. You know, if your mom was always like, you got to be home at 6, you can't go anywhere, don't talk to your friends. You'd be like, Mom, I'm too cool for you. You paint your nails black. You I don't know. You break out of the house every night, whatever. It doesn't, you can't put a lid on it. And if people co-opted it, we would just build another one. Like it would suck, but we could build another one. So,
yeah,
you know.
It would suck, but like at the same time, you know, I saw the idea is like, yeah, Bitcoin is forked, but it has been forked by the second largest holder before. I mean, yeah, that would certainly be different, but at the same time, you know, the second biggest holder is the most advanced financial institution in the world. The most advanced financial institution in the world understands the basics of what drives a store of value. And one of those biggest things is trust. And if trust is ruined in that, then the asset is ruined and their money-making potential off of it is greatly reduced. So again, financially incentivized based off basic of economics and what the asset is that they are marketing and selling, which in the case of Bitcoin, to ensure its health and success. Doesn't mean that they can't act nefariously in the future, but just incentives aren't aligned on pretty much every single front.
Well, and I would say too,
Beautiful.
And I'm very self-conscious about doing and saying anything or spending any amount of time defending someone like BlackRock because I'm a huge fan. But the specific question about language in their prospectus, I'm assuming it's referring to this particular excerpt here, which basically says, in the event of a hard fork, the sponsor, BlackRock, will, in its sole discretion, determine which network is considered Bitcoin for the purpose of the trust. The sponsor may consult with custodians, market participants, and other experts, but is not required to do so. So a paraphrase. And then, you know, that basically just says it's the purpose of this is protecting BlackRock from legal liability if a fork occurs and the ETF has to choose one chain versus another. It's that they ultimately will make the decision. It seems that there is language in there that is specific about the fact that this would be a Bitcoin protocol fork initiated by the network, not a fork initiated by Bitcoin. But I'm sure that that would be a problem for the courts to sort out.
By BlackRock, you mean?
Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
That's my interpretation of it too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the concerns are fine. You know, like I don't like it when we label something as a conspiracy theory and, you know, try to discredit it just because when we're talking about all of this kind of stuff, you kind of have to have at least half of your hat lined in tinfoil. So, like, I get it. But at the same time, the thing that I keep coming back to is if I can trust these big money-grubbing corporations to do one thing, it's protect their bottom line. And I could maybe see, like, if I was forced to argue the other side, I would probably say something to the effect of maybe if they nuked it and made their own, people would realize eventually that they had no no other option but to go with the BlackRock product because they're just so powerful that now they're scared that if any other product was out there that BlackRock could hurt it in interest of their own. And so then it would like nuke it for years in order to rebuild something bigger in the future. But I don't know. I could see that. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that's impossible, but it's not something that I guess is keeping me up at night.
Yeah, we should be concerned about it, but not like worried is how I feel at this point. Like, it's not a cause for imminent concern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. I always just try to look like, okay, like what makes the powerful people the most money? That's probably the most likely route.
Yeah, I agree.
We had a question that I want to touch on really quick before we get to.
Is it about the Polygon thing?
Yes.
I had a great transition to that. Neil had a comment that was beautiful. It goes, "The Rise Up Morning Show brought to you by BlackRock." It's like, yes, the next most obvious sponsorship.
Yeah, naturally.
The Rise Up Morning Show. And then Alex, you can take a second to explain our Polygon sponsorship.
I am a big fan of this.
Yeah, don't let the fact that I'm shit talking BlackRock fool you. I'm gunning for that money.
Gunning for that.
In answer to this other comment, do I spy an ETH Denver shirt? You sure do. You sure do.
Woo, look at that. Is that a buffercorn whale? It looks like it to me.
Oh, yeah.
Spork whale? Nice.
Okay, so the question was completely fair. Have you guys sold out to Polygon? So I would say there's a couple ways to look at this. And one of the conundrums that we have wrestled with a lot as a program is how do we keep getting better? How do we provide a better show? How do we be more available for people? How do we create more content? And how do we get to go more places, see more things, be more informed coverers of this industry? And the answer is you have to make money doing this. I don't know if anyone would be surprised necessarily to know how many hours a week gets spent doing this. But I personally work about 60 to 75 hours a week just on Rise Up Media as an entity. And I have an entire other full-time job that is 50 hours a week. So both of those things have to happen at the same time. We don't really make any money from doing this. I don't know if that's a shocker to anybody, but we really don't. The amount that we do make is kind of barely enough to cover the software budget for all of the stuff that is required to run this. We're in the process of moving the community over to Circle because it's safer and easier and a whole bunch of other things. That move is costing us, what was it, Evan, $4,500 just to get that set up. So we're going to be spending thousands of dollars a year to host that community over there. We also travel in order to see more, do more, learn more, cover more. We spend a lot of time writing, researching, editing, posting, hosting, streaming, tweaking, writing, brainstorming. Like, there's a tremendous amount of work that goes on. And there's a couple options in order to fund that. We could gate this, and we could charge all of you money in order to watch it. It could be something nominal. Maybe some people would do it. But in my humble opinion, my favorite way to get money is from giant companies that can afford to pay me in order to speak objectively about them. Because if you're curious, one of the things that's not offered in our list of deliverables are paid single videos. I don't post any videos, won't do it anymore, that say like, hey, this particular video is sponsored by so-and-so, here's a commercial. You guys hate them. I hate making them. They hurt our social capital. And I don't think that they endear anybody to the brand who made the sponsorship anyway, so the company's wasting their money. So what's next? We could get sponsors to cover the show. You'd be pretty hard-pressed to find a single live broadcast that is running, or a single podcast, or a single YouTube channel, or a single anything that is spending a full-time job's worth work of hours every week that is not sponsored. We're extremely selective about who gets to work with us. And at a time when I have been largely unemployed, making nothing, actually spending more than I was making running these businesses and keeping the show afloat, we've turned down hundreds of thousands, at this point, millions of dollars over the last how many years in sponsorship offers from companies and projects and cryptocurrencies that were seedy, shitty, didn't serve any purpose, offered you no value. And we have actively pursued the ones that we enjoy, the ones that we would like to.
Well, not only that, but the ones that let us speak plainly. A big condition of sponsorship is if Polygon does something to mess up or that we wish to be critical of, like we're frankly going to speak critically. I don't, it doesn't, that you gave me money doesn't in any way make me like, I don't know. It sets an agenda. Like I will make an intentional point to talk about you, but I may say something that you may find unfavorable. Your money is not going to sway me to say, you know, if Coinbase sponsored us, I would be talking critically of Jesse Pollock's Coin It trend. Still, maybe more.
And then the key thing here is what Michelle, the crux of Michelle's question from the very get-go is like, well, how do you maintain your ethics? Aren't you just like shilling? The thing is, it's like in our relationship with Polygon, we are under zero obligation to shill anything. There's zero content obligation in it. It's just like, hey, we're friends. We like each other. We like that you're building stuff for the people. And Polygon likes that we're here talking and trying to educate the people. So doesn't it make sense for us to be friends? And why not have like a relationship to help, platform each other too and talk about what we're working on. So it's not shilling. It's you're never going to hear a single thing out of any of our mouths, particularly the Polygon people's mouth, about the Polygon token. You're not going to hear anything about that. It's going to be like, hey, there's some cool stuff is being built. You can earn some stuff here. It's cool. It's useful. It's genuinely built for the people, by the people, to be used by the people, to escape from the man.
Okay, Thomas Jefferson.
It's all that stuff. I mean, isn't that like the philosophy of crypto, though?
The
Built
underlying
by the people, for the people, to benefit them, And like that's what Polygon tries. Which is one of the reasons why they're like one of the few ones we've ever accepted.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to send us what Ruzen calls life-changing money, then put it on the back of a suitcase of $100 bills and send it to Alex or Will or me, and we'll do something life-changing with it. But until that time,
the cherry on top of all of this is just that, unfortunately, we live in a world where this shit isn't free, and we spend a lot of money making this happen. And so, unfortunately, we have to make money somewhere. Otherwise, it's just not sustainable. And I've burnt out before because I have worked for years for no money, and it sucks. And in answer to the question, millions? Yes. I turned down over 300 grand in one shot from MEXC, the exchange, because the contract that they wanted was scummy and shitty, and they wanted me to launch a token. So, and I turned that down when I was unemployed, broke in credit card debt, and spending more money than I was making, and I burned through my entire investment portfolio to keep the business afloat. So, wasn't super fun saying no to enough money to pay off all of my debt and my mortgage and, all that kind of shit. But, hey, that was not worth the price of, I don't know, my reputation. So here we are. If you want to talk more about money, I don't want to keep the show going for too long with this as a topic, but if you are interested in hearing more, if you would like to see how the contracts get built and how sponsors get selected, if you would like to sponsor, if you want to see what that process is like, let me know, send me an email. I will literally set up a meeting to sit down with you and explain the whole thing to you if you still have any questions about it.
Well, hold on there, 60 hours a week, man. Maybe we can just put a disclosure on our website. I need your time.
Yeah.
All right. The point is that we're available if you have questions and concerns about it, and I will.
Or if you want to sponsor the show.
Want to sponsor the show.
Well, here's one thing. So CoinGecko reached out to me on Twitter. I'm sure they're in my TikTok DMs, but that's a disgrace. And they reached out to me, and they're like, hey, we want to do TikTok videos. We're doing a TikTok campaign. And I told them, I was like, hey, guys, love your product. We don't want to do a single promotional TikTok video, but I do want to have a conversation with you guys about getting you on the show. I was even said hey, come on the show for free to come and chat with our audience and stuff. Haven't gotten a response back, but you're going to see a ton of TikTok videos on CoinGecko, which is a great. It's CoinGecko. It's like the competitor to CoinMarketCap. It's just like a market aggregator where you get to see all the prices and a whole bunch of useful information. It's free to use, by the way. A great solution to keep your eyes on the market, and it's actually a really good product. It's not like a shilly. This isn't some crappy altcoin. This is an actual product that's been around that we all use. And we said no. At least I said no to making promotional videos. I mean, hell, I'll make a video on CoinGecko for free. Just come and have a conversation with us.
I've made hundreds.
CoinGecko's on Alex's bad list right now.
They're on my shit list.
Yeah.
Fun fact, CoinGecko is very aware of who I am. Hi, CoinGecko. We've talked. Going back years, I have a lifetime free membership to CoinGecko Premium or Plus or whatever the hell it's called. And every single time the conversation has gone from make a video about us to why don't we have a conversation about something else, I get ghosted, and then I hear from them again 6 months later when someone new rolls through and is like, hey, you're on TikTok video? And I'm just like, bitch, we've been here before. So if you get a response to that, Will, I will be very surprised. There is an active TikTok account running right now for CoinGecko. I'm assuming that this person works for them. Interesting, weird videos. Every single one of them specifically mentions the phrase CoinGecko app at least 4 or 5 times, and it's real weird, and they don't respond to comments.
They're pushing their mobile app in particular.
Yeah, which, again, anyway, CoinGecko, like, come on, you get at me. Okay, you know who I am. I don't mean to sound like a dick, but like...
Yeah, and the window is closing because we have good friends at CoinMarketCap, and... You know.
I made more progress with CoinMarketCap in 10 minutes than I've made with CoinGecko in 3.5 years.
And honestly, they also have a great product. So, you know.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys, let's transition away from this. Hopefully that was a little bit of insight for you guys and just kind of fun to kind of see how the sausage is made a little bit. We can talk more about it too, because there's some really scummy shit about it in the promotion world. But
that's an
we can talk more about that another time. That'd be a good after dark episode. Yes. But we were talking a little bit about BlackRock and traditional world of finance. I think that's a good segue to try to talk about the Circle IPO, which I haven't been paying a lot of attention to, but Alex, I believe that you have. So what's going on? What's the date? Is the IPO live? Is it not live? You know, what's going on?
Yeah, so let me actually I'll just share. I can pop this article up. So this was yesterday.
Oh, and for those of you who don't know, Circle is the creator of USDC, one of the largest stablecoins in the world. They work really closely with a lot of regulators and the government. They're a big player in the stablecoin space, like a huge, monumental, gigantic player.
And while you finish pulling it up, I want to answer Mike's question in the comments to say that, yes, we are doing Rise Up After Dark tonight. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find us live at all the socials at theriseupmorningshow.com. We're live with our friend Ruto from Polygon Labs. So I guess it's a paid shill tonight. But I think it'll be a great time for his perspective on your altcoin picks. A lot of inside information about what's going on there. And honestly, Ruto's... He's not maybe as public-facing on TikTok as Nil, but he's a fantastic creator and a delightful fellow. So we're excited to introduce you to him. And while Alex has got this up on the screen and Will's got it up here, I just wanted to say I have to jump in a second. So if you're listening to my voice now or in the future, hello. I hope your candles are green. My final reminder to you is don't forget to check out the links at theriseupmorningshow.com, especially if you're seeing or hearing us for the first time. There's so much good stuff there, like all of our backlog of episodes. We've got podcasts on every platform now and the Rise Up Discord community where you can ask a question, share what you know, all for free. The only thing missing is you. If you haven't left a comment on the podcast, what are you doing? I've got a pink Polygon shirt going to somebody who leaves a comment, and we'll have a prize tonight. Maybe, Will, you can offer one of the Arculus wallets we got at the conference to whoever, somebody, maybe a premium member in our Discord community on behalf of whoever wins the game tonight. They'll be playing for somebody back home. I think that would be really fun.
That'd be great. We should have more giveaways on the night episode.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I want to do one every single week. Whoever wins the points contest will win a prize for one of our listeners. And tonight's prize can be an Arculus wallet. So with that, I will say adieu. I love you. Arrivederci. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
See you, Evan.
See you, dude.
Bye, buddy. All right, what we got here, Alex?
Okay, so yesterday, the IPO for Circle on the New York Stock Exchange was officially filed. And here are some numbers. Numbers. Okay, so the IPO status right now as it stands is that we've launched. The listing, the ticker is CRCL, looking at a $624 million raise. This has some implications as it kind of goes into everything that has been very trendy lately, which... You want to talk about conspiracy theories and tinfoil hats? All of this, like acquisition nonsense, I think was all manufactured hype pre-IPO because the timing of this is incredible. acquisition rumors.
Oh right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that rumor. It was such a dumb rumor.
It was such a dumb rumor.
It like hit my brain like a trampoline and just bounced off.
Well, it made no sense, but it included the two people who would be the easiest to spin a rumor about because they're not going to really do anything to like address it because it's a shitload of free press.
Yeah, Ripple.
And it got a bunch of people who just refused to think about anything objectively to talk about Ripple buying it, Coinbase buying it, forgetting conveniently that Coinbase already owns a minority share. They have a 50% rev share with USDC revenue with Circle, which is just like all these kinds of things. The valuation looks between 5.4 and 6.7 billion as the target. So, you know, a $5 billion full acquisition is undercutting because, of course, it wasn't even public yet. Circle, of course, maintains not for sale. All acquisition rumors are just that, rumors. They want to go public. So we'll be tracking it, following it. This is one of those that, like, so if we look at historically, because I'm sure one of the top questions would be, okay, let's talk about investing in Circle as a company through their stock. There are a couple companies in the crypto space that personally I would be interested in investing in. We've kind of talked about this a little bit. Coinbase stock obviously has done relatively well. Personally, despite what many people may think, Ripple as a company would be high on that list if they IPO'd. I have said that for years. I would rather own Ripple stock than XRP any day of the week. Circle is another one of those companies. So profit, as far as revenue is concerned, here, Will, this is one of our favorite things to talk about. Companies in the crypto space that actually make money. Amazing, right?
I don't understand.
I know.
You're trying to make money? What?
I know. Believe it or not, this is the point. This is the goal.
You're not trying to make money. You're just trying to steal liquidity from people. I don't know what.
We're trying to grow TVL. It's the only thing that matters.
Trying to grow TVL.
Circle is profitable, reporting $64.8 million in net income last quarter and holding $850 million in cash and equivalents as it stands. And then, of course, there's all of the collateralization for USDC as the stablecoin. USDC, the flagship stablecoin from Circle, has a circulating supply of over $60 billion and accounts for 27% of the global stablecoin market. That's significant market share. This is an interesting... Actually, I don't know what Tether's percentage is off the top of my head, but obviously it's higher.
Either way, they're
doing well. This is, in my humble opinion, this is one to watch. I would, like, just because I enjoy keeping something crypto adjacent in like my Roth IRA, I'll probably invest.
Another thing too is you know, there's a big stink about like central bank digital currency. You guys have been here for a few years. This is a central bank digital currency. And everything but name, it is. So like, if you take your concerns with that and push it to the side for a moment, and just as an investor, go like, okay, do I want to invest in the company that's making the United States' central bank digital currency? That's something they're probably going to want to do well. Probably. Maybe this is something I might want to put a little bit of money into if you like having some level of stocks in your portfolio. If you're just purely crypto, but maybe you'll be interested in this because it's like getting into a crypto company early in the world of stocks. So interesting, a little bit of flavor into an investment portfolio.
Yeah, this is, as far as stablecoins that are like making moves though, I don't know of anyone that's doing more than USDC.
No,
there's a few that
have their connections. There's no one that's actually working with the US government as closely as they are or have been, or regulators. I mean, like, it's the central bank digital currency.
Yeah. Well, and two, I think that's an interesting conversation just because, you know, CBDCs are a hot topic. I have long made the assertion that currently the US dollar is a CBDC with a cash option. I think it could get worse. Don't get me wrong. You know, it could get worse. But like right now, as it stands, I mean, if the government wanted to, they could force money to be spent in a certain way by a certain time. They could put expiration dates. They can and do freeze people's account. Like all these things can be done as it stands. It could get worse.
That's what I was going to say. A CBDC would just make it But yeah, they can do all those things.
Yeah. So I think that gets lost in the conversation a little bit. Like we're acting like, oh, okay, this would be a new shattering development. No, it happens.
But speaking of Circle and stablecoins, Palmer McCoy on YouTube says, finally purchased some USDC on Coinbase. Do you have a partner, air quotes, that earns better interest? So on Coinbase right now, you can earn, if you keep your USDC on Coinbase, it's something like 4.4%. If you have a Coinbase One subscription, it's something like 4.7 or 4.8% right now. That fluctuates as rates change, rates on bonds. Yep. Rates on bonds or rates on Fed? Rates on bonds, right? Either way, keep your eye on that. But I also take stablecoins and I deploy them on Morpho, MORPHO, decentralized finance solution over on Ethereum, but you can use layer 2s. I've been using Base for a long time, so I have stablecoins in Base, and I take USDC, and I earn something like 8% on my USDC over there. But you can go shop around for yields on your USDC to whatever environment, would be it Solana or Ethereum, layer 2, Avalanche, that is of your preference. So there are a bunch of options out there, but those are just a few to kind of noodle on. Alex, anything? Hi, Alex. Anything that you can think of for good places to go to earn interest on USDC?
Yeah, no, I would echo everything you said. I'm constantly looking for new and better rates for my USDC. Morpho is fantastic, and there's a ton of options all through that. I'm currently supplying USDC through a Morpho vault to SparkDAO, which is kind of a big decentralized savings account kind of thing. Interest is better over there than it is on Aave right now. We're not partnered with anyone for USDC rates, but I'm gunning for one of those. That would be awesome. I would love to get a slightly boosted rate code for all of you guys to use to get just like we're doing with Marinade and increasing the staking APY for your soul. I would love to do that for USDC. God, that would be my creme de la creme of partnerships. So I'm working on it. If you have any connections, let me know. Yeah,
and speaking of partnerships, that Marinade link too, zero sponsorship at all, zero money coming in. It was just I met the CCO of Marinade here in Boston at a Solana event, and then we made friends with Nikki, who's now the head of their marketing. And we just became friends, and he was like, "Hey, do you guys want this? Your community could get more interest on Solana." We were like, yeah, do you want anything for it? He's like, no, you can just have it. We were like, okay, that was dope. Anyway, here you go, people. You want to earn more?
It's my favorite commercial ever.
Yeah, it's my favorite commercial ever. Yeah.
Hey, do you have Solana? Are you staking it? No? You want the most interest you could possibly get for it without having to double side anything? Here you go.
Here you go. Anyway.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. Wait. Nope. Wait. Nope.
I am the one of the.
Wait. Nope. Nope. Wait. Nope. Wait. Nope. Wait.
Will, I'm gonna send you a label maker for Christmas.
I know where this one is.
Of course you do. Okay, so anyway, moving on.
Sorry. All right. Yeah, back on track. I think we're good with the Circle IPO.
No, it's one to follow. Let me get this out of here. There we go. I'm telling Evan, you're about to get grounded. That's what's about to happen. Look at him. He's not even paying attention. He's just pushing buttons on his sound.
Oh wait, I'm still a monster.
Here we go. Okay. So, we have a few other things to hit on as well. One of them was, Evan wanted to talk about the Solana Seeker phone, but he's gone.
That's all right. Here, let's pull up a little bit, and then he can hit it tomorrow morning if he wants to go deeper. But I'll at least show you guys the announcement. So this came out of Solana Accelerate, which was last week in New York City. Major FOMO. I did not get to go, but so many of my friends did, and it was sad to watch from a distance. But okay, let's see. Do they have their? I think they probably have their own Twitter page, but I'm sure Big Solana retweeted it.
Big Solana.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the event. Honestly, that's one of the events that I'm most interested in, is the next annual Solana Breakpoint.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to go to Solana Breakpoint.
Yeah, and there's more than one. At this point, they have more than one. So it was Accelerate this year, and it was in the States, which they've never done before. Usually, Breakpoint is in Europe or Asia. Oh my God! Here we go. Found it. Okay.
Yay!
All right. Let me just. Let's just share this, and we'll find it. We'll finish the.
I mean, I can fill the time with.
No. Unnecessary.
No.
Thank you for the gracious offer, William, but we are good. Okay. So if you're curious about following along with any of the, actually real quick, I want to say just one thing, because this is a totally fair critique and criticism of these things. I personally think that as it stands, and I'm curious to hear how Seeker goes specifically, because I don't know that much about this project, but like going back to Saga, which was their first phone, the phone itself, technically not a marvel, but it was a decent phone. One thing that I thought was really cool was that MKBHD, who's like one of my very first YouTube subscriptions ever, Marquez Brownlee, biggest tech creator on the planet. If you never heard of him, I don't know what you're doing. But he reviewed it, and he gave it a which is pretty sweet, because he can be excoriating. Notoriously, he is rumored to be the one that sent Fisker, the company, out of business by eviscerating one of their cars, which, granted, they deserved. But anyway,
lovely.
I'm excited for this as a concept, just because I think that DPIN as a niche and a narrative inside of crypto is neat, but it's like so heavily populated by the sleaziest salespeople ever hawking nodes that do nothing but farm. It's like Ponziception. Okay, it's a pyramid scheme to sell nodes, and the nodes mine their shitty cryptocurrency. So it's like participate in my MLM, in my Ponzi scheme. Buy this node, sell nodes to friends, and get money off of your node, and get extra nodes, and buy more nodes, and
wait a second.
10,
wait a second. I know this. This is just a physical Ponzi scheme.
Yes, it's a physical Ponzi scheme.
Or pyramid scheme.
Will.
Physical pyramid.
Sorry, pyramid scheme. Yes,
Yeah.
not Ponzi scheme. There is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. But Will, it gets better, because after you ape into this one and you buy 10 nodes and you get all your friends to do it, guess what? All of your nodes mine these shitty tokens. So it sucks, because I love the idea of like crypto-focused hardware. I mean, who doesn't love new tech? Who doesn't love gear, right? And so this is exciting, because it's actually a thing that does something. So you can like make a purchase of like a device that you can just use as your phone, except it has some features that make it easier, more compatible with Web3 protocols and different dApps. Separate storage on device that can act as cold storage, that's like in the same casing and body, but that doesn't have to be connected to the rest of it. All this kind of stuff is all interesting. And so that's kind of why I'm interested in Seeker. But of course, they had some bigger announcements coming out of Accelerate last week, not last year. Jeez.
Maybe in crypto it feels like it.
It really does. Feels like 10 years ago, but wasn't even just the other day. So here is, I'm not sure how long this is, or if it's going to be worth it to watch without sound, but let's pop this bad boy up. Is this, okay.
I'm working on it.
We're good.
And we're up.
If you are listening to us in podcast land, I am very sorry, but the YouTube recording has a video playing right now, which is just a 1-minute kind of teaser announcer for Seeker, which is Solana's phone number 2, as announced during, it's been announced for a little while, but they've had some major updates in the Accelerate conference that was last week. If you would like to see the video, you can look it up on the Solana Mobile Twitter account, which is just at Solana Mobile. No underscores, no periods, no nothing. The other big announcement, of course, coming here is that it's going to have a token. And so now my hackles are up a little bit, because token, I would really rather.
Like, why? Please.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know enough to shit talk it yet, so I won't. But you bet your ass.
Worried.
Immediately I'm.
It makes sense. They released the last one that had bonk on it, and it drove sales up like crazy. So now there's another token.
Well, because it was
drive sales up like crazy.
It became a target to advertise, and I think that was such an interesting model that came out. So for those of you who may not have remembered, when the first Solana phone, the Saga, dropped, which, Will, do you remember when that was? It was a couple years ago now, but
I don't.
2022.
Any physical hardware that comes out of crypto, honestly, as like a PTSD immediate knee-jerk reaction, I just totally ignore it because I go, this is going to fail or it's a scam. I don't think this is a scam at all. It's coming straight from Solana, but I just don't think.
Yeah.
I just don't get really excited because, especially with a phone, I go like, I have a phone. Is the phone better than what you're gonna make Solana's phone? Yeah,
and I think that's fair. I mean, like, I know both of us, I think, have the same thing. So, like, if I'm sitting here saying, like, do I upgrade? It's like, am I going from a Galaxy Ultra to the Solana Seeker? No. But if I wanted a new, let's say, if I wanted a new hardware wallet and there was options to, like, get a better something, I would be considering, like, new wallet purchases if I could, like, level myself up there. I would really like to get my hands on one of these things just to do a real review, because I've been saying forever. Oh, can't hear.
Off sound, zero sound, sound cut out, no sound.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't change anything. We're not muted. Alex is muted. Alex only.
Okay.
Good.
Wait, back? What the hell?
Oh, and level 1 says back. Wait, what happened? What did you do?
What happened? Okay.
Good now. Now is good. Good now. No, Alex. Be seen, not heard. Back. Alex only. Wait, it's Alex only. What's happening?
Guys, I'm so confused. Okay.
Okay.
Geez. Oh,
Alex is muted again. Did you do anything on your side?
No. Let me just refresh. Maybe it's me.
Okay. I didn't touch any. Why we need. In the meantime. Wait, hold on a second, Evan. Everyone tell Will to tap the green button below the USB slide.
Is it?
All buttons are green.
Is it back? Is it good? Is it back?
Is it back?
Can you
guys?
Me, Will?
Green button below USB on Soundboard, or red button, you muted him. Hang on a second. Ah!
Did you?
They should hear you now.
Oh my God. William. It's okay. It's okay. This is already fewer technical difficulties than I thought we were gonna have. So you know what? I'm not upset about it. Okay. I don't know where you guys lost me, but all I was saying is that I would love to get my hands on one of these phones just because nobody in crypto, shout out, if you're creating content in crypto, no one does straight tech reviews like in the style of tech review YouTube channels. And this is like one of those things that I wish crypto would do, is like get out of its own way and like give the people what they want. Meet the people where they are and give the people what they want. And I love tech review channels. I'm not like in the market for any of these things, but I watch smartwatch reviews, new, like, the Galaxy earbuds versus AirPods, like, type stuff. I just like to know, like, what's the standard, what's the, whatever. So I'm interested in this phone just because of that. But also, yeah, right, Will, like you said, it was a prime airdrop target, and people who spent, was it like $400 on the Saga to pre-order ended up walking away with over $1,200 in airdrops. So it's no surprise that Seeker sold out on pre-sale in like 20 minutes. Undoubtedly not because people want the phone, but because people want to farm the airdrop, because you register a wallet address when you pre-order, and then that goes on a list, and then airdrops can go to those people. So
yeah, we'll see. If they run the risk, though, if they do this every time with a phone release, of all you have to do is just have one token just poof, and then people didn't get their money back, and then people get pissed, and it's a bad PR stint, and then everyone hates your phone, and they're going to hate your phone moving forward for forever. You're really rolling the dice with a double-edged sword with this strategy.
I think so, and this is one of the concerns we had highlighted after Saga dropped. I was like, they're setting a really unfortunate precedent that they're going to either have to maintain forever, or is just going to keep people, and I've wanted people to get away from this idea that everything you spend money on in the entire Web3 industry has to be an investment, which makes everything a harder failure if it doesn't work out. Like, I want us to be able to buy something that we want and feel like it was a purchase. instead of feeling like I have made an investment in this phone, and if it doesn't airdrop me at least 3x what I spent on it, I will consider it a failure. Like, just sell me the phone. So maybe doing their own token could help with that, but I feel like I would still just rather see native Sol have.
Or maybe the phone's not good enough to sell without the speculation of an airdrop.
Yeah, no, and I think honestly, we're probably at the stage where that is true. I think
that's probably. I mean, it's such an early phone. Like,
they're not going to be good. That was Marquez Brownlee's point, to be honest. When he was looking at it, he was like, the good news is that this phone works and it's fine. There's nothing, like, I would not recommend this as like a technically superior device over any flagship, but it's kind of neat. And I was like, honestly, that's really high praise. Coming from somebody like him, just that. One, it was cool that he reviewed it. That was cool. I thought he accurately reviewed the fact that, like, this is how the DApp integration could theoretically work with a device like this. This is the cold storage angle if they wanted to go that way. This is the native hot wallet angle if they wanted to go that way. Seeker has something called the seed vault, separate encryption for keys kind of thing. So, like, there are things that could be Web3 focused that could be unique enough to make crypto natives want to use a phone like this versus something else that they might have security concerns with. Plus, if you're concerned about data sharing and privacy through big companies like Samsung or Apple, this could present an alternative there, which is at least nice to have the option. Because, of course, there are all sorts of, I forget the name of it. Well, maybe you've seen this. There's like a phone that's really popular with preppers that's,
I don't know.
Like a anti-big network kind of thing, like more self-contained. If you know what I'm talking about, help me out. But anyway, I'm gonna let Evan cover it a little bit more, but that's kind of where we stand with Seeker.
Okay. And Level 1 on TikTok was asking too about the cost. Do you know what it is?
That's a great question. Let me see if I can find it. It's hundreds. It's not $1,000 plus phone like the big pros and ultras and whatevers. It's DuoFS nothing phone. It wasn't nothing. Nothing is interesting, but it's just another company. This was something very specific that was.
There's actually a phone called the Nothing phone.
The Nothing. It's a company called Nothing. Yeah, and they have. You might have seen them floating around. There's like transparent backings, and it's like very minimal.
Palmer McCoy on YouTube says the phone costs $500 pre-order for August 4th.
Sweet. Okay, cool. Thank you, Palmer.
Thanks, Palmer. Appreciate it, man. I think this is a good time because we only have a little bit of time left, because one of the things we want to talk about was altcoin season. And our guest yesterday, William Quigley, his last name was Quigley. I remember. Yes, William Quigley apparently had some interesting comments on it, but I wasn't there for it. So, Alex, what did he have to say about altcoin?
Well, I think a lot of those came when he and Evan had a little powwow after the show wrapped. But generally, kind of, I think nothing super groundbreaking. Actually, Will, I would be curious to see or to hear from you if you've seen anything that would suggest any new potential here, because in our heads, kind of the way we're going, there's just way too many cryptos for all of them to explode. So I feel like what we're going to keep seeing are these things that we've been seeing now, which is like these like maybe 2-week stints where we see like 20-30%, which is great. Like, don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of making 30% returns in a week on an investment. That's crazy. But
it's nuts.
It's insane. Pay yourself. If you hit one of those, pay yourself. Apparently now we're known as the ZBEC haters. If you made a shitload of money on ZBEC, please pay yourself, because congratulations, good job, you won.
You did great.
Don't ride that shit back to zero, please.
Sell some, please.
Do it for me.
Please sell some. And go buy a little bit of Bitcoin and have some cash. Give yourself some nice, and then have some money set aside for more investments, and then keep doing that over and over again.
The ultimate win.
The ultimate win.
So no, I think, Will, we were just kind of talking about, like maybe some bigger alts will have their time. The top 100s can kind of pump in unison. But, again, a lot of the hyper bullishness for crypto is happening in a vacuum, in a tiny echo chamber. And there's just not enough effort to talk to enough people who would bring in enough money to make the whole thing explode to a 10 or $15 trillion market cap. So I personally think that the predictions of like whole crypto market cap by the end of the year or next year to $10 trillion are insane.
Well, I mean, even if they do, all that money is coming from the ETFs. Like, to me, it's not the issue of there are too many cryptos. 90% to 95 to 99% of those cryptos are all dead. No one talks about them. No one knows about them. But, like, we really just have like 1,000 or 2,000 cryptos, really.
That's true.
And the issue is the ETFs, because the money that's going to get the crypto market cap to $10 trillion is coming from the traditional financial world. Like, that's where that kind of money sits. I mean, yes, retail obviously also has a lot of money spread across the entire world, right? It's a global market, yada, yada, yada. But to get to that market cap size, most of that money is coming through the ETF products. Right now, that ETF inflow is just going to Bitcoin. The Ethereum ETF is there, but that's not exciting to anybody until it has staking turned on to actually make it something different in the minds of large or old school traditional financial investors. They just want exposure to the crypto space, and neither offer interest. So you choose the one that's the name brand. That's why money goes to Bitcoin. And if all the majority of new money coming into the space is coming through the ETF products, that money is just stuck in those ETF products. If you want to turn that into altcoins, you have to sell that, wait for it to settle, take that, move it to your bank account, wait for that to happen, take that, move it to your Coinbase, which usually is instant. And then you can buy some altcoins, but that's difficult. Or, you could swap your ETF product from Bitcoin into Ethereum. But again, you might not be too interested in that if there's no staking turned on for it. There's no interest, right? You're probably going to want to go play with some other coins. So it's a very difficult process. So that's the thing, is you could totally get to a $10 trillion market cap for all of crypto. It's just that that's going to be sitting in Bitcoin until the day in the Bitcoin ETFs. It's not even in Bitcoin. It's in the Bitcoin ETFs, which you could argue is not in Bitcoin, but it is. And so until the day comes where you have staking get turned on for Ethereum's ETF, and then a Solana ETF, and then maybe a Cardano ETF, and so on and so forth, all the projects out there that have staking, you're not going to see a huge flood into altcoins. But even when that happens, you still have the same problem. You're going to have all the money sitting in the ETF products for Ethereum, all the money sitting in the ETF product for Solana, all the money sitting in the ETF product for Cardano, and it's not going to be able to flow within the system. Granted, all the money that's currently in the system will become more valuable, and everything in those ecosystems could go up in value, but not as much as if the ETF didn't exist and that same amount of money was just flowing into, the native crypto asset alone. That's the issue. It's the liquidity lockup, soft lockup, if you will, of the ETFs, which is why it's not flowing to every altcoin. And it's why you have to be definitely more selective with which altcoins you're picking, in my personal opinion. Those are my thoughts on it. But did William Quigley have anything else to mention that was different from any of our viewpoints?
Not that I'm aware of. I would ask Evan if he said anything after we wrapped yesterday, but I can so the other thing, I guess the other thing to keep in mind if we're talking about like what could push us to 10 trillion overall total market cap, in order for the price of something to increase, let's just stick with Bitcoin as the example, ultimately what is required? Because it's not just more money coming into the ecosystem. We see that all the time. Every time Larry Fink buys some, or every time Michael Saylor buys a shitload, these huge amounts of money come in over the counter. They do not touch the charts. So like by that we mean, Larry Fink and BlackRock or Michael Saylor and Strategy are not buying Bitcoin at market on Coinbase. They're not sending $1 billion in a transaction over there. They're making their own deals. So the thing to raise the price is really just all of us to believe that it's worth more, to refuse to sell it at a lower price. So theoretically, without a single penny more going into, this is theoretically, without a single penny more going into Bitcoin in terms of like people purchasing it, we could all collectively decide that we don't want to sell our Bitcoin for less than 200 grand. And guess what? Tomorrow the price is 200 grand. In theory, that is how that works. The market cap would then increase to whatever it would be with a $200,000 Bitcoin without a single penny more going in. Market cap is just price times supply.
Mm-hmm.
This is how those tiny, shitty little meme coins are able to get insane market caps. We've seen pumped out fun shitters that launch, bond, go out to Radium, and immediately hit a $300 trillion market cap because 6 people hold it, and they just list their one token for $900,000 for sale as a limit, and there it is. Now, all of a sudden, the 3 people who hold the entire supply can set the price, and the market cap just reflects the price, not volume or interest or trading or whatever. It doesn't mean that they're going to sell any, but on paper, that's what it looks like. So, by the way, they do that as a scam because then they airdrop it to a whole bunch of people. You think you have a ton of money, you try to go sell it, they steal your shit. Don't do that. But Bitcoin could technically function differently. I've always kind of maintained that I think a better play for raising Bitcoin's overall value and usefulness and increasing the network security would be, instead of the government just like buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and keeping it for themselves, that they would buy billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and give it to all of us. Like issue tax refunds with 5% of the tax refund for every person in Bitcoin and provide them the infrastructure to keep it. So, legalize and cement the right to self-custody and give us all a little bit of Bitcoin as an option for 5% of our tax refund for 1 year, and bada bing, bada boom, tons of new holders. People get to learn about something new. There you go. I think that would be way better, especially if they had a vested interest in Bitcoin doing well for the security of the nation. If you wanted to be the crypto capital of the world, I think that would be sick. Never going to happen. But that's kind of how El Salvador did it. Everyone got a few dollars worth, and they all got the Chivo wallet. They all got their free wallet set up. They learned how to do it. There were stations set up to help people figure it out, use it safely, whatever, keep it, custody it. And there you go. You got a shitload of users and a bunch of new holders onboarded. So
yeah, I do want to say one thing though before we get too far away from the market cap conversation. Market cap is still very important though as a investor and trader for trying to figure out how much money you can make off of it. But in terms of using it as a measurement of value, it is not a good measurement of value. But from an investing standpoint, it's you have to double the market cap in order to double your money.
Yeah, but I mean, very fair point. And like I said, my example was purely hypothetical and theoretical and very unlikely to happen that way. This is the XRP conversation. You're like, is market cap? Why do people say the market cap is not a problem keeping it from $10,000? It's because of that theory, that everybody who holds it could decide, we will not sell this for less than whatever. Market cap increases, no new money required. That's why people say market cap is kind of made up, because it kind of is. It's largely based on belief. But if you do that with a community that's that big, someone is going to be like, well, hey, we're all saying 10,000. I'll sell mine for 9,000. Then someone's like, I'll sell mine for 8. I'll sell mine for 7. And all of a sudden you're right back down to real market value. And that's kind of why prices stay what prices are. So yeah, market cap is very important. Got to be aware of it, but it's not the end all be all. So don't just like look at one metric, kind of look at the aggregate of metrics.
I saw another comment too. It was like, stay away from $1 billion market cap coins unless you're rich. There are $1 billion market cap coins that can outperform a lot of those smaller coins too. So, and also like, I would just say, those $1 billion market cap coins are still getting you like multiple 100% returns, which is phenomenal. Like right now, right? Like, don't get scared away from something just because of the market cap. If you think there's an opportunity, if it's in a hot trend, if it's in a hot ecosystem, it has a lot of social, mind share, you can still make a lot of money off of that. And guys, whenever the market gets too bull mania crazy, there's always the thought process of like, oh, don't sell unless you have like your 100x or something a little less extreme, 50x or 20x or 10x or something. If you've doubled your money in a short period of time, that's amazing. And all you have to do in the crypto space is double your $1,000 investment, 9 times you have $1 million, or is it 12 times? I forget exactly what the math is, but just keep getting some wins, keep socking that away, keep making sure that your losses are small, your wins are big, and you'll be riding off into the sunset.
That's
you can do that with $1 billion market cap coins.
No, absolutely. I mean, and that's one of those things that I think gets lost, as we talk about it, because the allure of a 10, 20, 50, 100x.
A single investment that changes your life. It's the marketable thing. It just doesn't. Yeah. Usually doesn't happen.
No, it's super tempting. It's super alluring. But what it often does, more often than it pays people out 100x gains on something, is that it traps them into this cycle of believing that their 200 or 300% increase on this investment that they just made a week ago is like not worth taking profit on, which is insane. This is why so many people just round trip. This is the thing that makes more people lose money than anything else. The reason that the number of people who lose compared to the number of people who profit in crypto investing is so high is because of that phenomenon. That you have been conditioned to believe that a 5x is mid, when that's obscene. Like, pay yourself, please, for the love. If you take nothing else from me except for the motivation to pay yourself a little bit, if you crush an investment like that and you nail that, I mean, holy shit. Please let it be that. Let that be the thing.
Yes. But It is about time to get final thoughts and then ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset, or cats and cows into the sunrise. So Evan's not here. Evan. Alex, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I would say I see. So my take my profit taking thing as not like hatred of any specific cryptocurrencies. We talked about ZBEC yesterday, and really my goal there was to just inform the investors. Like, if you're buying that, I believe that you should want all of the information. If you're buying it and you resist learning any new information about the thing that you're investing money into,
you're in trouble.
I would say that you're missing. You're making a monumental mistake. That's an insane. I can't even fathom what kind of mindset you would have to be in to have invested your money into an asset, and for someone to say, would you like to learn more about the thing you invested in, and be like, only if it's good news. Don't tell me anything that I don't want to hear. It's like, okay, buddy, good luck, Godspeed. But like, that's the mindset that locks you into this idea of just losing, because you're just going to hold that thing forever because you think that, what did it do? 600%, but you're sitting there thinking like, nah, it's going to do 10 more. It's like, okay, maybe. So don't sell the whole thing, but like, pay yourself something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really my final thought. Like, there are red flags with ZBEC the same way that there are red flags with literally every single cryptocurrency that has ever existed. There has never been a crypto that was exclusively good news. Every single one has red flags. Every single one. You should want to know what they are. You should really make every effort to identify what they are. And if you're not, you are setting yourself up to lose. So if you find yourself being resistant, if you find yourself knee-jerking to get mad when someone tells you a potentially bad piece of news about ZBEC or XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum or Polkadot or whatever your majority bag is, and you're like, no, I don't like this person, they don't like this asset. Some people just talk shit to talk shit. Like, you can differentiate, you know, but in general, you gotta want to be able, you gotta want to learn more. If you don't want to learn more, then you're just gonna lose. And I'm sorry to say it, but
yeah, I mean, if you're putting your hard-earned money at risk, you know, it's your job to have all the information possible to protect that money. So,
amen. Absolutely.
You need the good and you need the bad in order to make the best decision moving forward, guys.
Because maybe good, maybe shit.
Yeah, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. That's the no. Whatever.
Don't you have the label for it on your screen?
Huh. But the thing is my
today
screen,
on the Rise Up Morning Show, Will learns to read.
Well, I can't read.
You know what?
So
to be honest, I like the no.
Here we go. Anyway,
do you
guys,
have any final thoughts, my darling William?
Only one. Oh yeah, baby. The Rise Up Morning Show this morning's coming to a close. That train's rolling into the station. Hope you enjoyed this ride this morning. Got to enjoy the nice scenery looking outside the train of that great, beautiful, big American countryside. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed those tea and crumpets. Hope you have nice. Don't forget your bags as you're walking off the station. And if you've walked onto the train with a small child, please do not leave that here. I do not want to take care of him or her. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. This is going to be a great time whenever I get to host this show. You get to look at me with my mustache, talking in a voice like this.
Is it over?
And anyway, yeah, it's over. That's the show, guys. We'll see you later tonight at the Rise Up After Dark episode. And there's going to be a giveaway to a member of the audience. I believe it is Polygon shirt. And we're going to have Polygon on as well to join us. So that'll be fun. We'll just kind of be like talking shit, having a few drinks. You know, that might be a fun time to actually peel the layer back on some of these like stupid sponsorship deals that they try to give TikTok people. I don't know. We'll see what we talk about. Guys, we'll see y'all later. Have a great rest of the morning. You'll see us on the interwebs, and tune in tonight for Rise Up After Dark. See you guys. How do I end it?
See the giant button that says end stream?
Shut up, Alex. You're a schnitzel.